It's time for Good Game Spawn Point. I'm Rad.
And I'm Jem. Coming up on today's show, we explore a storybook in the adventure Lost Words Beyond the Page.
Uncovering the unknown.
Plus, we dig into gaming's history book to uncover the odd origins of the Nintendo character Pauline.
Come on and jump up in the air.
Sounds good, Jem. A quick question. Do you know what this button's about?
Huh, never noticed that before. How weird.
Take no notice. Nothing to see here. We really need to start the show.
Yeah, but Darren, what?
Roll titles.
It's not just me. This is sus, right?
Absolutely.
Ahem.
Oh, sorry. Well, before we get on to the review, Rad, what other games have you been playing this week?
Well, Jem, do you know what a Dyson sphere is?
Those are those cool vacuums, right?
Not quite. Dyson spheres are these huge structures that an advanced civilization could, in theory, build around a star to harvest its energy. Sort of like if we encased the sun in a bunch of solar panels. And Dyson Sphere program lets you do just that. It's similar to games like Satisfactory or Factorio, which you know I love. But here you control a cool robot who looks like Optimus Prime to harvest resources and set up elaborate production lines, which ultimately let you build your very own Dyson sphere. It's really cool and pretty, and I love the scale of it. You can warp around between different stars or even black holes with no loading screens. You can cover entire planets in factories and, of course, watch your Dyson sphere take shape. It is still in early access, but it looks like a very polished game already.
Oh, you know me, I love some pretty space to fly around in. Definitely something to keep my eye on. Another thing these eyes have been keeping on is the indies shown in the Xbox showcase. Did you catch it?
No, it was like 3 hours long. I don't have time for that. Just give me the highlights.
Okay, well, let's see. They showed off this very pretty looking adventure game called Omno, which has dinosaurs and a guy with an onion head. There was also Moonglow Bay, which looks like part fishing sim, part Stardew Valley.
Oh, gimme!
Yeah, I thought you'd like that one. There was a nice looking cooking game called Soup Pot, and there was a cool adventure game called Nobody Saves the World from the Guacamelee developers. All of which are due out at some point this year.
And all of that took 3 hours.
There were other cool things too. Those were just my personal highlights. Did any other news catch your peepers this week?
I did see that the Pokemon Go developers are teaming up with Nintendo again. This time, they're gonna make a Pikmin augmented reality game, which will launch later this year.
Ooh, that could be fun, finding Pikmin in your garden.
Okay, you two, wrap it up. Time's a ticking, and we've got a review to do. Places, everybody, places! Oh, very good. Cue the review.
Today's my birthday. Dad made his best cake. Hello, little firefly. Did you come for my birthday? If I'd started my story sooner, Gran could have read it. It might have helped.
Lost Words Beyond the Page. What? Oh, sure. Oh, that is better. Lost Words Beyond the Page is a story game with some light puzzle and platforming elements thrown in. So this review will have some story-related spoilers here and there. Consider this your official spoiler warning. Darren, could you please run the spoiler warning?
Affirmative, Jem, though in future, please submit all requests for spoiler warnings to my assistant Mariam for approval before the review begins. Commence spoiler warning!
Thanks so much, Darren. Okay, where were we? Oh, right. In the world of Lost Words Beyond the Page, we follow the story of Izzy, a young aspiring writer, whose words are as much her weapons as they are her art.
A place of peace and magic.
Oh, poetic. Izzy is writing her own story in the midst of a family tragedy that forces her to move through the stages of grief. This creates 2 distinct sections of gameplay. One within Izzy's diary, literally hopping between her written thoughts and feelings. And the other is the story's fantasy world, where a hero sets out to find the magic fireflies who fled her village after a dragon attack.
No. Where are the other fireflies?
Using the power of word magic, literally pulling words off a page, you'll be smashing barriers, repairing platforms, lighting your way through dark and dreary caves, and floating through underwater caverns. It has all the makings of an epic fantasy game, but it never quite gets its feet off the ground in either world.
Yeah, unfortunately, I felt the same. Cool concept, not so cool execution. While the fantasy world is beautiful, and I loved a lot of the character design and the environments, it's closer to a walking simulator than a puzzler or a platformer, which would be fine. But having to open up your magic book, select the word you want to use, move the word into the right spot, it feels clunky and drags things out. And it's not like it's even a particularly long game to begin with, only about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the problem, right? Because it's so short, those cracks stick around for the whole game. And speaking of, I really didn't like how the character controls during the diary sections in particular.
I mean, that's silly, right, Journal? It's just Gran.
The flow of movement is constantly being interrupted while waiting for the story narration to kick in or trying to catch up to it.
A weird feeling in my stomach.
Movement also feels quite floaty, so nailing those more precise jumps can take several cracks to get right, which makes those big emotional sections where Izzy is pouring her heart out on the page feel really messy, as you're accidentally yeeting your character into oblivion.
Oh man, that happened so many times and it snapped me right out of the moment. It's kind of like the gameplay and the story are both fighting for your attention and it's so distracting.
That's exactly what it feels like. I also experienced pretty frequent drops in frame rate, which, while by no means game-breaking, was the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
Come on, Firefly.
All in all, I can't say I had a good time with Lost Words Beyond the Page. I didn't like the gameplay and I didn't like the story. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I'm a story gal through and through, and I can normally follow just about anything if it's compelling enough. Lost Words has a beautifully tragic story with a lot of good messages wound in, but those threads are twisted up in gameplay that I just found too frustrating and distracting to get properly invested in any of it. So I'm giving Lost Words Beyond the Page 1.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Darren, cue the sad music.
I'm Director Darren, not DJ Darren.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, look at that. Oh, hello, GGS peeps. It's time to delve into the video game history book to unravel a minor mystery on the origins of one of our favorite characters. This week, Pauline. From arcade game damsel to mayor of New Donk City, who is Pauline? Well, long before Princess Peach, Pauline was the one Mario was on a mission to save. That's right. Pauline first appeared in the original Donkey Kong arcade game in 1981, way back when Mario was simply known as Jumpman. With Pauline kidnapped by the cantankerous Kong, it was Jumpman's job to dodge rolling barrels and clamber up ladders to save her. Bonus points if he could gather her lost items on the way. In this game, Pauline was simply known as Lady. She was initially illustrated as having blonde hair and wearing a pink dress, which has understandably led some gamers to assume this was Princess Peach, but they would be wrong. Pauline's next major appearance was in the Game & Watch version of Donkey Kong, following which she showed up in Pinball for the NES. By now, she was beginning to be depicted as a brunette, distinguishing her slightly from Peach. Later, she would appear in various Game Boy and Game Boy Advance versions of Donkey Kong, as well as the Donkey Kong micro game within some of the WarioWare titles. The next time Pauline would emerge in any substantial way would be in 2006, with the first of a series of roles in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong minis games.
With his VIP guest Pauline for the ribbon-cutting ceremony.
Largely puzzle-based, they centered around the Super Mini Mario World theme park. But several of these titles still involved Pauline somehow being kidnapped by a jealous Donkey Kong. Kong-napped, if you will. Although she does team up with Donkey Kong to run an arcade in 2013's Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Minis on the Move. Business owner has got to be a step up from kidnappee, I guess. Pauline also features as a Mini herself at times, alongside Peach, Toad, and other Mario Universe friends in Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars, for example. But it was Super Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch which eventually gave Pauline a little bit more to do. The start of a Pauline renaissance of sorts. In fact, in this game, she is both the mayor of New Donk City and an accomplished jazz singer. She even performs a stellar skyscraper-top concert, belting out the Super Mario Odyssey anthem, Jump Up Superstar.
It's time to jump up in the air.
It provides the soundtrack for a creative in-game homage to Pauline and Mario's platforming origins.
Let's do the Odyssey.
We also learn a bit more about Pauline herself later on in Super Mario Odyssey when she quizzes Mario about some of her interests. Turns out she really loves her hat, good cake, and long walks around New Donk City. Relatable. Pauline went on to add another string to her racket, appearing as a DLC player in Mario Tennis Aces. And she hopped into the driver's seat in mobile game Mario Kart Tour, where she became available during a special tour event. It's been quite the journey for Pauline. Once mistaken for Peach, only to become an entrepreneur, singer, local politician, tennis ace, and motorist. Who knows where we'll see her next? Just, maybe keep Donkey Kong out of it. Oh, that's fascinating. I'll have to talk about that next time. Books are great.
All right, you set for all these gaming questions, Rad?
Oh, you bet I'm set. Are you all set, Gem?
I'm mostly set, yeah. So let's have our first video, and this one comes to us from Zara.
Hi GGSP, I have 3 questions for you. 1. Have you done a review of Genshin Impact? If not, can you do one? 2. What are your favourite parts about Animal Crossing New Horizons? 3. What are your favourite villages in Animal Crossing New Horizons? Bye!
Thanks, Sarah. To answer your first question, well, no, we haven't reviewed Genshin Impact.
Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly why. Probably because there are other games we wanted to review at the time. Sadly, we simply cannot play or review every single game, so this one may have just slipped through the cracks, like sand through the floor of a rustic beach house.
Oh, so poetic, Gem.
Oh, thank you. And hey, it's pretty unlikely we'd review it now, considering it was released in September last year.
Maybe we'll find some time to get into it. Or should I say, Genshin to it? That totally works.
Look, you tried that, that's good enough. As for our fave parts of Animal Crossing New Horizons, well, I like how social it is. Hosting visitors on my island or visiting a friend's island is pretty fun. Virtual hangouts. And the creative elements are pretty cool too. I love decorating my space, trying out custom designs and seeing what other people have come up with. What about you, Rad?
Well, it's no surprise, I love the fishing and trying to fill out the museum collections. It's just such a chill, colourful and relaxing game to spend time in.
Now, if you're wondering about our favourite villages, well, for me, it's Apple. She's just a ball of sunshine wrapped in a cheerful little hamster. And her nickname for me is Cheekers. How cute is that?
Oh, so cute. You do look like a Cheekers. Personally, I have a bit of a soft spot for Apollo, the cranky eagle villager. Ha! I just like the cut of his jib. I don't know why, but I just prefer the cranky villagers over the peppy ones.
That's fair. On to another video, and it appears this one comes to us from the Among Us Master. Now remind me, Rad, do we bow for masters of gamey things, or is it just royalty?
No, just royalty. No bow, no bow.
Okay, got it. What about some other kind of acknowledgement, like a tip of the hat?
Well, we're not wearing hats.
Good point. Let's just look at the video.
Hi GGSP, I have 2 questions for you. My first question is there going to be an Among Us 2? And if so, can you please do a review on it when it comes out? And my second question is, how do you get free mine coins in Minecraft? Thanks, bye.
Thank you, Among Us Master. In answer to your question about whether there will be an Among Us 2, well, probably not. For now, anyway. The developers originally had planned to make a sequel, but around September last year, they announced that they would work on improving the original Among Us game instead, and just integrate all the content they'd planned to put into the sequel into the original through updates and things.
I guess one day they might make another one, but who knows if or when that might be. I suppose we'll decide whether or not to review it if we even know if it's a thing.
Always good to wait until things are things, I say. To your question about how to get free mine coins in Minecraft, well, let's check in with Darren. He knows about fancy financy thingies. Maybe he has some hot stock market tips.
Greetings, you've reached Darren.
Hey, Darren, we just wanted to check if you knew of any ways to get free mine coins in Minecraft.
Oh, if only. If I did, I'd be some kind of mine coin millionaire and could retire to Minecraft French Perth. Once I finish building it, that is. But, alas. Now, mine coins, of course, are Minecraft's in-game currency, used to buy things like skins and worlds and things from the Minecraft marketplace. And if you want mine coins, they typically need to be purchased using real-world money in some way. So, that's something you should always talk to your grown-ups about first.
I think I've heard it may be possible on some platforms to redeem points earned through the Microsoft Rewards loyalty program for mine coins. Is that right?
Well, if that is in fact the case, it sounds like another one to have your grown-ups look into first. There's no other legitimately free way to earn free mine coins that I'm aware of. And sites claiming to have ways of getting free mine coins are always dodgy. So steer clear of those.
We don't want dodgy. Good advice, Darren. Thanks. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Well, it looks like that might be all the time we have for Ask SP this week. If you have a question for us, go here and send it in. And if it's a video question that makes it onto the show, we'll send you some humble GGSP loot in thanks.
That Minecraft French Perth sounds pretty nice, though.
I wonder if it has like a special French Perth Eiffel Tower.
Oh, maybe it'd be an Eiffel Tower. Do you get it?
No, I'm not sure I do.
Just imagine, like, the blocky croissants and stuff.
Ooh, delicious, I think. Hey, Rad, wanna press this button?
And look at that! We're out of time for today. Better tell them what's on next week.
Right, okay, Director Darren. Next week on GGSP, we try to build the ultimate baddie lair in Evil Genius 2 World Domination.
Looks marvelous, that one.
Yeah, I thought you'd be interested. You know, this button here looks just like the kind of thing an evil mastermind would have.
Yeah, it does. Does it open a shark pit or something, Darren?
Time to go. We're out of time. Darren out.
Until next time, right out.
Gem out.